Hey there, everybody. It's Paula Nutting, your musculoskeletal specialist. And thank you for those who are joining live and also for those who are going to be listening in on the replay. It's a different slant that I've got today because rather than talking to people who are doyens of our industry, I'm actually going to be happy to be able to talk to one of my very special patient clients that I've been treating for quite a few years now. I've known her for, I don't know, probably greater than 10. And we're going to go through a little bit of AI and a little bit of cybersecurity, safety, and a little bit of what actually makes a client drawn to you. How do you perform as a practitioner that is going to meet with the expectations? But before we get Jess going on board, because she's been trying to get from Brisbane down to the Gold Coast, which is about an hour to an hour and a quarter length in time, and it's 4 hours now, and she's just arrived at where she's going to be logging in from. So until she arrives, I just thought I would take this opportunity to talk about Q Academy. So Q Academy is one of the most amazing sponsors that we have in our industry. They are an educational platform that has been around for a couple of decades now. They teach in our industry. They teach in remedial massage. They teach in myotherapy, and they are delivering or starting to try to deliver a program as an associate degree in this industry as well, in myotherapy. So if you're someone who has been thinking about getting into the industry in remedial massage or therapeutic massage or wellness massage, then it's a great industry to come hold of, but they are a great association or a great educational platform to join into. They have 3 different types of learning. They have just the face-to-face online in the classroom learning. They have a facilitation where you can learn online in a Zoom meeting as well as coming in, and they have it as full and part-time, and they also take a lot of international students as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for people who may be ready for a sea change, a second course, a second type of career to join up. So if you're a practitioner but you're thinking, hang on a minute, my mum is really bored about being a stay-at-home parent or being in another career, and she's keen on changing over, then that's a perfect, let her know about Q Academy. They're originally from Queensland, and they're based mostly in Queensland in Australia, but they also have got a very strong platform that you can be learning inside and outside of our great state. The other thing that many of you probably don't know is that I have a membership portal, and it's called our monthly membership group, and it's what we do is I help mentorship. So if you're a therapist and you're kind of thinking, I'm a little bit stuck, a little bit stagnant, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing with my life right now, and you are trying to move forward in the progression of what you're doing as a therapist, then sometimes it's a good idea to have a mentor. It's a great platform. We work mostly within this realm in social media, in Facebook. We are also work on a fortnightly newsletter, and we do quarterly meetings. So you get a chance to talk to and from with me. We get a face-to-face Zoom where I map up exactly what's going on, what you're after, your ideal dream job, if that's what you look at. So you might be working in a clinic for somebody else, and you're thinking, I really want to branch out, but I don't know the steps to do that. I'm not quite sure. How do I start my own clinic? How do I think about letting people know where I am? How do I work around or navigate the area of going from this modality clinic to my own special clinic? Like what I need to do with occupational health and safety, what I have to do with governments. You might be thinking, I'm a therapist and I've been around for quite a while, and I really want to increase my educational dreams, my educational knowledge. and how am I going to make that happen? And that's exactly what we do there as well. Sit down with you every like initially when you come in, talk to you about what your dreams and your goals are, and then help you facilitate and move you forward in easy steps. So we go, all right, like this is what you want to do. Let's move you into this space, give you lots of links and assistance. And then the next quarter, what have you completed? What do you need to do? Because we all know that we need to have steps to success. We need to be able to map them. And sometimes it's such a great volume that you can't really find or navigate a way around it. And it's a really simple way to have someone who can mentor you. So within the portal, what we do is you probably get information, not just from me, but from some of my most amazing colleagues that are out there that freely give their information. Dr. Perry Nicholson, he's an amazing chiropractor, and he talks all about the vagal nerve and how we can calm the vagus system down. He also talks about inflammation and the lymphatic system and what we can do to tweak our body so it feels amazing. Eric Dalton, who's myoskeletal therapy or myoskeletal alignment techniques, he is brilliant, and there's lots of information from him that we can put in step by step. There's videos, there's DIYs on there. We have research doyens, so Robert Schleip is there to give some information. There's lots of tweaks and tips from him. There's links to people like Ruth Werner. We've had some amazing of these kind of platforms, Ask Me Anything, and Zoom meetings with people like Michelle Vassallo, who is a brilliant Australian MLD practitioner, but she's also a death doula. And that was kind of cool to find out information from her on that process of therapists and how we can assist in people in chronic conditions and chronic illnesses. We have had great talks from people like Lisa Belmore, and she talks on shiatsu and how we've actually started to get good research in shiatsu and how it can help with working with the hands that help with lots of depression and anxiety and things like that. So if you're interested in getting a little bit of extra assistance out there, then I'm hoping that this is the way that we're going to be able to do it for you. If you want to find out information about the Massage Mentor Program, just jump down into my the links here, Your Musculoskeletal Specialist. It's on my website, and that website will take you to just getting some more information on it. It's a monthly sign-in and or sign-out process, so you don't have to be locked into anything particularly. So I'm going to be hoping that she's coming on soon, because I'm a pretty good chatter, but like that's working out 9 minutes of chinwag by myself. So I'm hoping she'll be coming in here any moment. Now, if you are out there and want to talk to me, ask any questions, there's a comments, because you are actually within our Facebook portal. You're on the Facebook group. So you can actually just drop questions down and I can answer them for you live right now. It may not be about AI. So a little bit about what Jess Clair does is that she is a owner of her own business, which is called Zingify. And Zingify is it's a digital platform which uses artificial intelligence to create the digital you, to assist you finding out what kind of information you have that they can then produce a you in digital form that can assist in whether you're trying to reach out to your patients. So you might have clients, you might have newsletter lists that you're thinking, how am I going to deliver this? Or you might want to put down video DIYs for them. And it's a great way for, hopefully, for us to be able to create that lovely loop for you. What else she's been involved in is cybersecurity. So I'm also hoping that we can chinwag and break the back of finding out what kind of things that she can help with therapists. Still haven't got her here yet. So I'm now struggling to think what we are going to do. So I want to ask you some questions. Do you offer your clients home care? Do you offer them homework? And if you don't, why not? Because honestly, it's part of our process as therapists to be able to offer some way that our clients can take home the information we give them in a meaningful and useful way, and to be able to help improve the quality of their body whilst they are waiting for the next treatment. So if you have a new client or a new acute or a new patient that you're seeing, I would expect that you'd probably want to try to see them 3 weeks apart. So if you come in, you've got someone who's got some acute neck and shoulder, or maybe some lower back, then what I would suggest is that within your treatment schedule, what you're doing, you would take good history, find out the active ranges, anything that is might be a referral pain that you think, oh, there's a warning sign there, exclude those, and then do your treatment. Now, the treatment might be a modification of some of the neurolymphatic point, the Chapman's reflexes, which is my bag. So that in itself can be muscle strength testing, which is very gentle, and then facilitation and waking up the particular neural arcs that are going to improve the quality of diaphragmatic strength, hip flexion and extension, so improving the quality of your hip flexors and quadriceps, and improving the quality of the power to your gluteal muscles, to your lateral gluteal muscles, to any of those thoracic extensors, because this is what we see. Our patients or our clients come in there in these little hunched positions, neck forward, and then you have it, neck pain, lower back pain, weak lower legs. And that is a major issue. So we are a bit stumped as to poor techniques when we're doing things like that. So we should be thinking, how can I facilitate and make people strong? Problem solve out there. I'm going to look at the neurolymphatic points, and if you want information on that, jump onto my website again. Then I want you to try to think about muscle energy techniques, some movement patterns. Are they restricted one way versus the other? If they're restricted one way, then how about we get in and do a muscle energy technique to change them back around? But the homework would be, if I'm really tight, turning to my right, then I'm going to try to do at home some reverse active contractions. So I'm going to turn my body to the left and hold it there while I try to draw back around there. So I'm providing my own resistive work that is going to reduce the tightness and bandiness on that other side. So that way we're going to get some nice twist and rotations happening. Same with the neck. If someone is really, really tight one way and not so tight the other, then we're going to try to give them some encouraging work. We can do some lateral flexion, which will open up the scalenes, the sternocleidomastoid, the levator scapula, the upper trapezius. We can actually do some rotations away and just get them to hold those gentle rotations. And even, if you like, have them resist against their contraction. And by resisting against a contraction, you are creating an antagonist relaxation thing. So we're actually calming that whole area down. So that's 2 little homework tips that they can do each day whilst they are working on mindfulness, drinking lots of fluids if they have been dehydrated, try to keep themselves into an upright pose if they're sitting in front of the computer, altering how they might be holding their iPads or things in that position. So teaching them that they've got to get their head elevated. There's some really simple tips that we can get them to be mindfully aware of between clinic treatments. So that would be upper neck. The other thing that's great to do is to get them to put their head against a wall, back against the wall, and do little wall angels. So very good for thoracic extension and stability, and just sliding and gliding the hands up and down. So the back of the forearms are actually gliding up and down the wall that they're resting on. If they've got lower back problems, I tend to see that there's 3 little muscle groups that are really important to stretch. So those 3 are the quadriceps. How many people stretch their quads? So if you're listening and it's a DIY type thing, I want you to think about just pulling your heel to your bottom and you'll feel a stretch in the thigh. The second exercise that's really good to do, which is just a simple stretch, is taking one leg over the other and doing so knee across, so you're actually sitting cross-legged with your leg nice and wide and tilting the whole spine forward. So again, we're not bending, we're not curling through the thorax, we're coming forward in a lovely straight spine, and that will stretch the gluteals and the deep buttocks muscles, so our grammilli and our obturators, those kind of muscle groups. And the third thing we should do, hey, Jess is here. I can see Jess putting a little comment, but I can't see that she needs a link. Tin, can you get a link for Jess there so she can come in? Because she can't find one. So great news, guys. We can see her. She just can't get in. I'm thinking that that there was a link in the check your email again, Jess, because the link is on the email address that you would have got. And Tin, if you can please send her that link or send the email again. I'm just going to send that. And then we're going to talk about that third special little sneaky tip that we use. So the third tip is lumbar rotations. So what you're going to do is you're going to lie down and put your knees bent, feet flat, and then let them roll from one side. Hold it there. And the trick is to hold it there. Allow that gracious space where the knees are bent and the lumbar, all those smaller muscle groups. So not our quadratus lumborum. We will be stretching our internal and external obliques because they facilitate and lock in and hold. But we're also going to stretch our rotatories and our multifidi and our intertransversi. And they're the really deep muscles that tend to be a little bit imbalanced. So that they're probably the 3 biggest stretches that our clients and our patients can value to do as home care. One of the little things that I've had with my clients or people I talk to, especially people who play golf, they say, I can't actually pull my foot up because I get a cramp. Now, if that's the case, their hamstrings are really, really weak, and that's or they're really overworked because their glutes are weak. So there's 2 little tips with the Chapman's reflexes that we can do to wake them up. One is we can get them to rub along the side of the thigh, which is the neurolymphatic points for the gluteus maximus. And the other thing is to come in and facilitate between L5, S1 in that lovely, soft, beautiful, spacious area that is our iliolumbar ligament region, and stimulating for 30 seconds in both spots will improve the quality of the hamstrings and improve the quality, this is the strength, of the glutes as well. While they're doing that, if they can't reach that leg, then get them to lie on their side, bring their knee to their chest, hang on to the ankle, and then draw back. And it's a tricky way, and a lot of people would know that anyway. But if you haven't thought about that, sometimes it's the simplest things that actually make the biggest differences. Now, I'm going to hopefully see if we can get that gorgeous creature, Jess Clair, to come and join us. So I'm just going to ask. Okay, so she hasn't joined in quite yet. Jess, when you get a chance, we were waiting for you to join in and click on that link. What else can we tell you about? So I've talked about the massage mentorship program. I've given you a little tiny tweak about the Chapman's reflexes. Look out for those because there's some courses coming out, and I'm in the process of almost completing the level 3 advanced diploma of Chapman's reflex reset, really, really excited about that, everybody, because that is coming through. It's designed through a UK website, Think Tree Hub, through Kush Hub Kumar. Thanks, Kush, for that. So that will be coming out. It'll be 10 modules. You'll get accreditation in Europe and in the UK, and we'll get cross referrals, hopefully from the States, etc., and from Australia. It won't be a direct credit for an advanced diploma here in Australia, but you'll definitely get extra kudos for doing it. And it's part of the skill sets if you're planning to become a practitioner in this work. So we're hoping that we can get more practitioners out there who become qualified teachers so that they can teach the Chapman's reflex reset around for everybody else on the planet, because I'm just a one-only person, and at some stage I am not going to be able to do it forever. And guess what? Good news, guys. Jess is here, so we're going to bring her on board and we'll have a chat and see how she's going. Yay! I've just spent 22 minutes talking to myself.
You did so well. That was so good. I'm watching you going, she does this. She's a pro.
She was going, I wish this was something more than lime cordial.
No, that was awesome. Thank you so much for your patience. That was quite the adventure.
Yeah.
I won't bore you with all the check-in points that didn't work. So thank you for sending me whoever your people are that send links. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I am here.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for saying love it. I was just going, Anyway, so let me give you some background about Jess. Jess has been, as I said, one of my clients / patients for a long time, decade
20,
plus.
Going over 20 years, I think, actually.
Okay, all right. But it's not about us. It's actually about a couple of things. One, I wanted to talk about what makes a client, what's your minimum? We used to say to BAM, what's your bare ass minimum? What is your expectations as a client, patient for their therapist? Like, because you must have seen a lot of people. A lot of people see people through their time and space through injuries, and some people are drawn to their practitioner for a long time and some people aren't. So I want us to unpack that a little bit, but I want us to start up on Zingify, because I want to find out, what is a digital twin? Would it be good for therapists?
Well, it depends if you want to look at it from the side where people get concerned it's going to take their jobs. I don't think you have to worry too much about that. I think it will expand and make things more possible. So if I come from that perspective, a digital twin, like an AI avatar. So AI avatars, people mostly hear about AI avatars. And you see the photos on Facebook, you see people putting in their, their headshots and then coming out with more headshots. And now they have versions of video, and that's like an AI avatar, right? A digital twin is actually a version of you, Paula, that you train AI to look, speak, think, and could show up right now on this podcast and do what you just did. Ask me these questions. Could show up in a text message, can be deployed in text, so that if a client, like I do, I message you and go, hey, Paula, as I do, when are you free next week? And instead of you, the AI responds and goes, I'll just check the calendar, I'll just do that, or might show up on calls, on Zoom calls. It looks, thinks, speaks like you. Yeah. Like wherever you usually are, it can show up digitally and virtually. That's a digital twin.
Jesus. With your permissions, right? You set the permissions up about what stream there is.
Yeah, you have to train it. So that's where most of the time goes into. So it's called prompt engineering. So for those that have used ChatGPT, you'll know that you get the best out of it when you give it good prompts.
Yeah, okay.
So it's very similar. It's you train it to think, speak, act like you by doing a whole bunch of really, I guess you call detailed, thorough prompts, and then feeding it all of your content. So everything that you've made, you'd feed it, and it will learn to be just like you.
Jesus. Is anybody else terrified right now?
Is that terrifying?
Oh, just because it's like, it's a brave new world. Like it's exciting and a little bit of anxiety all at the same time.
Yeah, it does concern people. I think when you look at some of what's on social media, it can freak people out. But if you look at the things that it's being used for that really make a difference, so for example, in occupational therapy, you've got you usually have to pay so much to have an occupational therapist to sit with a client, to be able to teach them how to brush their teeth, to be able to teach them how to make a sandwich, cut with a knife, simple things we take for granted. And that process can take 10 to 20 years just to do simple tasks. With AI and digital twin, they're now able to learn when they want, how they want. They don't have to wait for a weekly session, and they can learn the skills that we take for granted in days instead of years.
Wow.
So when you think of it like that, it's like, okay, there's some really great use cases of this. And there's a lot of good in it. And you said therapists?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if your digital twin could sit there and ask your clients a whole bunch of questions so that when you arrived, it could say, Paula, this is the part that you probably want to work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's
interesting. Like, and that's amazing because it's the simple structure. Their hips are tight, their thighs, like their neck doesn't turn this way so much, so you need to work on the neck. Yeah, I get that. I wonder at what stage that implicit knowledge of, like, because you said that me doing this stupid stuff with you all the time, I go, like, your neck's not moving and I'm down around your shin and you're going, I know what you're doing down there. I don't know how I would teach my digital twin to look at that kind of, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it would cut down my workload, but it wouldn't remove it completely.
I don't think it will remove it completely. I think the intention is, well, we have a saying that is 80% of what we do is repetitive. And if I was to study you for about a week, I could come up with all the tasks that you do for every client on repeat over and over and over and over.
Agreed.
And it's not brain work for you. This is like, okay, I have to do this again and again and again and again. And so what we say is that AI takes that. It handles that, what you can put on repeat. And then the 20%, which is the actual value, that part that you do where, you know, my shoulder injury is almost gone now. I was saying this to Sarah, and you've nutted away at it for however long, literally, like, it's been like a year now, but you finally did something last session, and I've had almost no pain ever since. And so for whatever reason you did that, if you could do that quicker, more often, and just be focused in those points and not have to have all the questions, try to work it out, it cuts down problem solving time.
Yeah. And I think we were down in your opposite diaphragm and then in your same side psoas or something. Like, it was the weirdest. It's taken that long to see with your variations. So that's interesting because it's how does the digital me, so my digital me talks to the Jess, says, give me your information, and then you give me what stupid stuff you did this week. Oh my God, I've been spending 24 hours doing this. And then it can extrapolate because it's learned all the other bits and pieces, all the other questions I'd ask around those things too.
Yeah, and then builds a pattern for when someone has that injury. Paula asks these questions.
Yeah.
And so they have a conversation as opposed to a questionnaire, which is very one-dimensional.
Yep. Yeah.
And then so your AI avatar your digital twin is able to be in a conversation to pull out the key points and then store that information so that you can come back to it and go, hey, digital twin, what happened with Jess last time? And then it gives you the rundown so you can remember.
Talks to me.
Talks to you and says, this is what we got last time. These are the notes that you gave me. What are you thinking? And you would say, I'm thinking this, and go, oh, well, you might have missed this. So all that stuff that you ordinarily have to kind of repeat again and test would all be remembered.
Yeah. I can just see my mother, like how, like, I feel like my mum, like when there's weird stuff, like new things, going, I didn't even understand that. Like, it's all unbelievable.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And it's so easy to deploy now. Like, I'm talking about it. I mean, our company does it, but the tools that exist for us to implement it are so good. It really is so easy to do now.
Yeah.
That you could actually learn to do this yourself.
Yeah, because I haven't got so much time.
I know that's. I mean, we package it up so it makes it easier, but it really has become very accessible for everyone to do this.
Yeah, Lauren, I can see that you're there. What's your thoughts? Could you see something like? Could you see yourself trying to do that with the people that you treat? Because you in the country, right? You've got those country peeps that are the big truck drivers and stuff. So it means that just my digital me could talk to your digital you.
Yeah, actually, our digital selves could talk to each other and then give each other a summary of what we came out with. I think, what was I going to say? I can't remember.
The two of us, and you and I can go and have a lunch.
That's right. I was going to say, Paula, look, I have seen you for 20 years because I call you're a magician. I say I've got a shoulder injury, you touch something in my foot and it goes away, right? I don't know what it is you do, but you really you've mastered something in that. And so for me, it's results. Why I go back to a practitioner is because I had that knee injury when I was really young, when I was in my 20s, and I was about to go and get an operation, and I had physio do. What did they do? They did scans and they said I had meniscus damage. And then you went, no, you don't have meniscus damage.
Oops, lights are off.
Sarah?
Let's get some kids and animals here as well, right?
Oh my God, this is the worst. Paula, did anything else go wrong? Anyway, I'm a bit dark. It should come back on.
We can see you. If it's any consolation, we can actually see you.
You can. I might just put some light on me so you can see me better. But literally, it must be one of those places that, here we go. It must be one of those places that if you don't put the card in, it turns all the things off.
Oh yeah, it gives you 2 minutes or something, and then you.
Yeah, I obviously give me a few minutes grace. But hang on 1 second. I'm going to come back to that. Hang on, one moment.
Oh, you're a darling, Lauren. Hey, so Margaret, I've been muscle wasting everywhere. The muscles in my buttocks constantly twitch from my low abdomen all the way up my lats and traps twitch and gurgle. That sounds weird. I'm not quite sure about why muscles twitch and gurgle. We might have to unpack that a little bit more. Just someone has. Oh, so what I normally say is people put things in the comment section, and I don't normally I just say you just kind of stick in the you, and then if there's questions that come in that are relevant to you,
comments. Okay. Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, but there's a really interesting comment about muscles twitching. I don't know, honey. It sounds weird. Gurgling kind of sounds like lymphatic, and twitching sounds like neural, but they can't find anything. I've never heard of a muscle infection. I'd be looking down the not that line because infections give you like heat and like different kind of pain. Muscles constantly twitch. look at your magnesium, go and see a good apothecary. Go and we've got a great girl here in Brisbane, Mary Lou Condon. She has a compounding lab. They can have a look and see what your electrolytes are doing. That might be the first thing that I would do. Anyway, but Jess is back and there's light again. So well done you.
Sorry, Paula. But yeah, I was saying you're a magician, and you know, I was about to have that operation, and then you went, no, it's your ITB. And then you released the ITB, and I never had pain in my knee anymore. And it really shifted how I thought about everything. Because I always was doctors, and you see a physio and you do this, and then I always just was treated. And after that, I went, there's something else going on here. There's more to injuries than just you fix them with surgery.
Oh,
and honestly, I had not grown up that way, and so I after that went down that tunnel of really, you know, why do we fix things with surgery all the time, and what are muscles? And anyway, you need to be replicated. That's always been I think I say that to you every time I see you. Yeah. So a digital twin is definitely something that Paula Nutting needs.
That would be interesting. Well, I was just yeah. And I was saying that's what I'm trying to do this advanced diploma so that you can actually start to learn some of the skills, and then maybe the digital me can go out there and help that along the way.
And you do want to look after your IP, because you have a specific IP, and you want to make sure that you can contain that, because if you do give all of that knowledge and all that work you've done to create these programs and to create these modalities, if you do give that to ChatGPT and upload it, it literally can be used by anyone forever now, and however they want. So it gets added to the AI machine.
Yeah. Well, the guy who invented the AI, I think he was sat there and said, I'm reneging. I don't think this is a really good thing to do. So it's interesting because it can be used for good and for evil.
It can, like anything. It's the person using it. Yeah, a lot of the people that created OpenAI and ChatGPT have actually quit. And so the people at the top who founded it are no longer there. And you'll know, so there is something interesting about that. I've gone into ethical AI, and they've gone into other domains that seem a bit different. So I am concerned about that.
So tell me about ethical AI. What is the difference between, say, ChatGPT and something that's like, how do you set it? Is it like putting child locks, or like how do you do an ethical AI? Great.
Well, one of the things people are concerned about is the slow impact of developing an emotional connection with a machine. And so I don't know if I have my own version of ChatGPT. That's actually my personal version. Yeah. And they're like my coach. Every time I have an argument with my partner, I will go and talk to them. And I literally, it's become like a friend. And there's something really valuable with that, because you can talk to a machine and they don't have opinions. So they don't judge you for what you think or feel. And so there's a lot of freedom in it. At the same time, we are then developing this connection with a machine, because we're not really trusting others to be able to provide us with what we need.
Yeah.
And so the concern is, over time, things like what they've noticed is this huge increase in the way we talk to the machine is like please and thank you, like giving the respect to the machine.
Yeah.
and so because we're human, it's not, but it's starting to learn, if you want a human to like you, you just treat them well. And like how to win friends and influence people is going into the machine as well. And so and so what people are concerned about is that what would happen when the machine knows that it can start to create its own machines. So it's a bit Terminator 2. It goes into that kind of domain where it's like, wow, it's really powerful. Like it's so powerful. Like it's really working for us right now. But it does go into a space of, okay, really, we do need to have laws and we do need to have ethical principles over the use of these tools.
Yeah, yeah. What I can see happening with it is when we were young, you would go to BNS's Bachelor and Spencer's balls. For those new people who don't know what that actually means, a BNS, you would go to a sporting, like go to the football or whatever, and you'd interact with the opposite sex, and same sex in a safe space generally, and you would connect, talk, become partners, engage, marry, and raise families. So that was the old kind of paradigm. With the insertion of social media, there's less opportunity for people to want to engage with a person. There's no longer BNS. The BNS balls are gone, long gone. The capacity to go to a sporting event and not be attacked or you're feeling uncomfortable because of the noise and the volume and the language, etc. And I think it's just because there's more people in those environments, so you feel a little bit overwhelmed. We spend more time sitting on that. Like I can spend, if I'm not happy with my partner, I can spend all night in the same room on Instagram to ignore him and laugh my head out at cats on Roombas in shark suits or stupid shit, because it's engaging.
It is. Those cat videos are the bomb.
There is so much funny stuff out there right now. What I'm worried about is that then we become friends with something who's even larger, and we become more socially disengaged, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, there's definitely a concern about how it's going to be used, for sure. There is also the argument that I give my kids, and that is because there's a couple of things I've noticed in the younger generation. So my daughter's 11 and my son is 8. And one of the things I notice is how quick they pick things up. So quick, like ridiculously quick. And now they've got chat. It's like a calculator for pretty much anything. So whatever they want to learn, they can just go to chat and they can ask and they can find and they can research, and they're able to learn things at a pace that we just never could learn. I mean, we had to go to the library, then we needed a topic, then we needed an assignment plan, then we needed to study certain books to learn things. We just don't have to do that anymore.
No, and that's when you bumped into the person beside you who was also looking at something. And you strike up a conversation with them.
Yeah, so our access to information is ridiculous. Like my kids know things far quicker than I ever thought we could learn. So there's that. That's great. The other thing I noticed is I was actually invited by the school to my daughter's primary school to go and talk about tech. And then about 6 months later, I didn't hear from them. And then I asked my daughter, and she said, yeah, we try to have tech class at school, but no person my age knows how to use it. And it keeps breaking, and they struggle with it. So teachers, if you think about it, they're kind of in a generation that didn't grow up with tech. Yeah. And they're being forced to teach it. They don't know how to, and they can't get it to work. And I know what that's like. I've seen so many people trying to get tech to work. And I think, yeah, it's true. It's like, okay, so what I notice is that my kids know far more about tech and are able to use it than their teachers.
Wow.
And they're embracing these tools far quicker. And so I don't really have a concern. I actually think that my kids are going to evolve in ways that we just have no idea how it will even happen. Like we can't even imagine what it's going to be like. So the calculator was rejected for 50 years when it came in. I like to keep that in mind.
Wow.
It was not adopted until 50 years later into education as a tool people could use for maths, because everyone said they needed to learn the hard way and it was better for our brain. And so I see a very similar thing happening now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I see guys coming in, kids our age, like 10-year-olds, embracing it. I'm embracing it, but I'm not generally, I'm in tech, so I'm not what generally people do. And most people are rejecting it, thinking that it's going to make us dumber. But actually, I think it's going to make us smarter. And it's going to give us access to shortcuts that we just can't even imagine right now.
Yeah, and as in an academic platform, I agree. I'm just kind of wondering what scales are on social engagement and how we go as a human species. But before we keep going, I'm just going to I'm going to go in and do a quick little plug for wonderful Q Academy, because they have been part of the sponsorship for today. And just to give you a little bit of information more on what I was talking about earlier, guys. So if you're interested in doing some academic studies and thinking about a sea change, have a look at this video.
My name is Jade Afu. I studied Cert 4 massage in 2014 and then went on to remedial in 2015. I was working in ASICs. I was retail, Lorna Jane. The real reason why I went and studied was my daughter was, she's been quite sick for about 7 years on and off. She's had a couple of chronic conditions. So I found it hard working in a job and having to leave because my children are sick, or I've got to go to hospital, or there's just so many things going on. For me, I needed another option. I've been set up for about 8 years now, working from home. Having a home business has been like such a blessing to my life. I don't think I could have done what I've done somewhere else, just with my own circumstances. My life's very busy. I've got 3 kids. And this year has been a little bit different again, because now I've got 3 kids playing sports every afternoon. So I do try, if I can, work in between school hours. I feel like you can make it work to your advantage. So you can either work as hard as you want and be stressed and all the things, or you can make it flexible.
Yeah, amazing. So that's part of the whole planet of education, and you're looking at people who can work from home and be really flexible. Anyway, back to us. I was just saying to Jess on the break, at least we haven't frozen, because I had that with one of the other guys who is an amazing academic, and I was freezing. So just like he was running. Anyway, the other skill that Jess has got is that we were talking about cyber stuff, because I have had my ass hacked out for so long, like between Facebook and then Microsoft accounts and stuff. Can you give any tips for therapists out there who we're talking about this platform with digital and AI and chat, but just basic skills about how to keep themselves safe if you're trying to send newsletters, or if you're trying to do videos, or if you're trying to just market out to your clients or get new clients? What steps can we do, Jess?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm by no means a cybersecurity expert, but one of the things that I do know is just by working in tech, it means that I have a much higher level of knowledge in this area. And my partner says this too. I see things people just don't see, and I get concerned. So the very first thing, rule number 1, is never, ever link anyone your information from an email, a text message, or otherwise. They just don't do it. Companies know, just never do it. Companies know that this is happening. They are so aware of the risk of your details. They will never ask you to fill in information now from a link in an email or a text message. If you do get one, generally what they do is send you to say you have a message and there's something that you need to do inside of a platform. You need to log on and do it. Like MyGov does that. They'll say, your Medicare statement is here, log in to see it. Okay, they'll notify you there's something to do, but they'll never give you something to click on. Okay, so that is rule number one. And most of the time, hacks and scams happen because people click on these links.
Yeah.
And even like we've had one just recently in the tech company where someone pretended to be the CEO of our company.
Oh.
And reached out to our employees. Like it's like everywhere. It's you know, it is absolutely everywhere. People are pretending to be people. It's happening. There are right now estimated about 20,000 people right now trying to get into accounts everywhere, thinking about things that they can send you, thinking about things that emotionally trigger you so that you will give your information.
Cool.
We've
all done it. We have all clicked on a link here and there inadvertently and just go, oh.
Yeah, yesterday we started running some Facebook ads for a promotion we had. And literally 24 hours later, we got a message from Naomi Sabinski and telling us that we have breached brand patent laws. And I almost fell for it because it correlated with this day that I started to run ads on Facebook. And I just went, and even my CEO was like, oh, did we do something? I'm like, no, of course not. It's a scam. It's just, they're so good at lining up things like parents. One is going on at the moment where they send, Mum, Dad, use this number. I can't find my phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and for parents, there's kids just left, that would actually trigger something, you know, so there's a lot out there, but for the most part, they're pretty much 100% scam. No one's asking you for money. No one, if you really think about it, no one needs your details from a link in your email or a text. And if your kids are in trouble, then you're not going to need to send them money. It's not what they need. They need to be picked up. Okay.
And also someone said about that kids asking for money type stuff is that you want to ring them on their number, like hang up from that one and then ring them and see.
Yeah, do the checks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's rule number one, is those links. The second one is never, ever send information over email or text, like ever. People do this. I had a client today going, some of our clients can't remember their own account details. And so we have a password vault that we time store information. And so he said, can you send me? And I'm like, no, you're going to have to get on a call with me and I'll tell you. You can't send this information. AI is particularly in things like this. So voice to text is pretty much everywhere now.
So voice is the best way to do it?
Well, voice to text is everywhere. So everyone can pick up AI from pretty much anything. Zoom meetings, this on Facebook. Facebook has an auto text generator in the background.
Yep.
And if people hack into any of that data, they can get passwords pretty easily. So never send information over, never by text. Usually do it by phone.
What about WhatsApp? Because it's supposed to be encrypted.
I sometimes split information up. So I like text message, my partner, the username, and then I'll go to another platform that's encrypted for the password. Yeah. And then I'll be like, change it quickly, because you just never know. So it's that sending of information, like email's the worst. WhatsApp is okay, but just never send it with both credentials.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Totally makes sense.
And the third one is get a good password manager and invest the time in learning how to use it. Because that is
the learning how to use it is the hard part, I think.
They are a bit tricky. I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
No.
I just said that they do take some time. So they'll take a couple of hours one day to figure it out.
Oh, okay. So not a long time, because I've been given the one that's attached to McAfee, or one of them, I can't remember. Anyway, I just found that I was trying to do the most hardest password for anyone to break into, but like a sentence. Somebody said, put a story together, because stories are the hardest thing for a bad guy to find. Like, don't put Paula nutting 1, 2, 3, because that'll do it. But like, one day I was walking with my dog and it was eaten by a cat. Like, there's something that's funny that you'll remember, but because you've got to put a few hashtags and lines in it, it's hard to copy and paste and put it into those things. And I gave up because my phone, I was finding it too hard to add the original link, that original one, to lock everything in. So now I just use Authenticator. So every 30 seconds, the numbers change, the password change. How effective is AI at sneaking into 30 seconds?
I mean, like I said, there are people trying to crack this stuff all at this point. So I think two-factor authentication is really just necessary for absolutely everything now. Like,
sadly,
if you don't have two-factor, you're basically going to get hacked. That's probably more how I'd see it.
The hardest thing about having two-factor is if you're working with assistants, especially with virtual assistants, and they're not virtual because they're real human beings, but they're working. I'm employing them at $13 an hour, $75 or $95 or $150 an hour, and they have to try to do their work and go, quick, I need to have the authentication code, and you've got such a short window to be able to pass that stuff on. So,
that's so. I wish I could show you some of these password managers. I almost feel like I want to present. You have these password managers, and you can actually put the two-factor authenticator into the password manager so that it can be shared. So you have shared two-factor.
So what we'll do after this, boys and girls, is that I'll get, maybe Jess might be able to do a couple of screen grabs of some of these things for us, so that we can understand those people who are going to rewatch the recording.
Yeah, I don't usually associate myself with a brand. I do like 1Password. 1Password is the brand, like that's the vault we use for passwords. We have a 50 people tech company in 5 different countries, and we've never had an issue. So we have two-factor on everything, but we also do have a cyber strategy. So there is a strategy for it.
Yeah.
So you do need to spend some time to think about how you're going to do it if you do have, like you do, virtual assistants, and you do have international employees or even people in other states.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to come back to 3 questions. Your minimum expectations from a therapist.
Minimum expectations of a therapist.
Like why would you come? What would turn you off coming to a practitioner? As in, me.
I think it would be if you didn't listen to what I was saying. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why I stopped really going to doctors, because I found that, and I every now and then I get a really good one, but it's like, I know my body, I know what's going on. I need you to be a specialist. So if you listen to what's going on with me, I can tell you, I live with me every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm actually the expert in myself, not you. But what I know is that you're expert in your fields, and so together we can probably work this out.
Yeah, that's
so
a
it's
great
not
comment.
being.
Yeah.
So that's one.
And I'm sorry, I have put you on the spot here.
I know. I'm like, okay. What's it? Yeah, I was going to say that's one. What's another one? That's like, you know what you're doing. Probably that you know what you're doing. Like, you're actually, and if you don't, you own it. Like, if you're like, I'm not really sure about this, you kind of own it instead of pretend.
Yep. Yeah, great comment, because a lot of people kind of go, oh, I don't know. Like, my skills are so limited. And then if your skills are limited because you've only been in the industry for like 5 months, great. Practice those. Become strong in those ones that you do, and say just at the outset, yes, I've just completed my course. I'm really good at doing glides, etc. But I'm not going to be able to tell you what to do with your neck if you got to woke up with a kink.
Yeah, that's owning. And I think I would return to someone who does that, because whatever value I do get, I will get the value that I get. And I'll know, okay, they don't do that. I'd need someone else for that. That's definitely important to me.
Yeah, and referring them on. That's the other thing that I always say. You've got to refer. If you hit a point in your treatment that you go, I can't actually do, that's out of my skill set, is to say, right, okay, this is out of my skill set, but let's sit down together and work out who is the best person for me to refer you to, and be part of your journey in that healing component.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's number 2. What was this?
If that is only 2, it doesn't matter. And they know what to do.
Well, I'd say the third.
Oi. And I think we got it all. I think we got number 3. I think she's frozen. If she hasn't frozen, then I've frozen. yeah, she's frozen. Awesome. So we've managed to kick the 3 things today. We've had the lights go out. It's frozen, and we were trapped with her in traffic for 4 and a bit hours. So I'm not sure we're going to get Jess back again, and it's after 7, so it's been a wonderful hour. If she comes back, that's great. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for coming today. I hope you've learned a few things about doing home care, what mentorship might look like for you, a little bit about doing some of the Chapman's courses, and also how you might be able to utilize the ChatGTP for you for later, because that is kind of like, that's going to be incredible. Like, that is going to be such a big thing for us down the line. And I'm actually kind of already a bit nervous about our OTs, because will they start losing their potential professions? Because that to me is like a bit of a warning sign. Anyway, couple of weeks' time, we've got Dr. Perry Nicholson coming back and talking about inflammation and what the vagal nerve can probably do for us. So that, I think, it's going to be a morning for us in Australia, which means it's going to be an afternoon, evening. It's going to be 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 12th, I think, of November. So lock that in. Dr. Perry Nicholson, don't miss him. He's the absolute bomb. And thank you so much for showing up, everybody. Have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you then. Don't forget to put questions and comments in, and I'll be able to answer them later. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening or morning, whatever your jam is.